Hey everyone, welcome to episode 82 of This Week in Marketing Show, also known as the Twin Show. This is your host, Saudi Islam, and today I'll be going over the notable news and updates in the digital marketing space from the week of November 8, 2021. Also, just so that you know, I am still on the road, actually vacationing here in South Florida, which basically means that I do not have access to my recording equipment. So I am doing this recording this podcast using my AirPods, and that basically means that audio quality is not going to be as good as it has been. However, I feel that I need to get this podcast out, so I am getting it done. Also, I'm recording this a day late. It's Monday morning here, and again because I was traveling and on the road yesterday all day, and by the time I reached South Florida, it was too late, exhausted, tired, and I just couldn't make myself to go ahead and do this recording with kids in the hotel room and things like that. Okay, with that, let's move on. Today, first off, we have an update from Twitter. With Twitter adds this new option to let non-Twitter users chain into spaces. Believe it or not, I'm excited about this update. I was actually attending a Twitter Spaces conversation last Friday, and obviously at that time I had to use the Twitter app, but this was the first time I was listening to a Twitter Spaces conversation. Again, it's similar to Clubhouse. However, what I really liked was that it had audio, text, caption, or closed captioning as it was happening. I really enjoyed this conversation. Again, there is not much difference between Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse. However, given that Twitter is allowing Twitter users to listen in from the web is really, really good, and it will only help amplify Twitter's reaches in the non-Twitter world. However, I feel that given how these platforms are copying each other, I feel like Clubhouse is going to go ahead and do copy this feature very quickly. Okay, with that, next update. And next update is Microsoft Audience Network now prohibits four types of ads. So what are these types of ads are? Number one, it's lawsuit advertising or invitations to participate in a lawsuit, end of life products and services such as, but not limited to cremation services, funeral, flowers, urns, coffins, and obituaries. The third group is health supplements and vitamins. However, enforcement for supplements and vitamin ads that are already currently running on the network will not begin until January 2022. And lastly, it's gambling, which is already prohibited on Microsoft Audience Network, but now will also be prohibited on native advertising side by Microsoft owned and operated properties. So what does this mean? This means, basically up until now, these four categories that are already prohibited on Google and Facebook. Microsoft had given you a leeway, and Microsoft is coming back and to basically clamping down. So if you hadn't taken advantage of this, if you're in any of these four industries and you have taken advantage of these opportunities, then that's good for you. But if you have not, you've missed out, and now it's back to square one, and now maybe you need to look at other greener pastures, other platforms where these are not prohibited, and you kind of again, I'm not saying be shady, but you just have an angle to get your message out, get your business going, and I'm sure new and new platforms are going to come out. Like we saw TikTok come up, Clubhouse is coming up, so I'm sure that at one point they're going to have audio ads and things like that. Okay, of course you have YouTube and you can do YouTube videos, and again that's a different story for another day. Okay, next up we have third update we have is Facebook has announced or Facebook has launched a creative app platform to expand stories functionality. So what is this creative app platform? So now when we create stories, obviously we take a picture or a video, but after we do that or before we do that, we have to say, oh, this is the picture I want to do, and then we have to go ahead and edit it in our app and then go do all the things. So sometimes that kind of slows things down. So Facebook is taking a page out of this, I believe, Snapchat Mini, and what they're doing is they're saying, okay, well, whenever you're in the moment and you take a photo with the Stories app, you'd be able to whatever modify the video or edit the pictures and things like that. So instead of using your phone's camera to take the video or the picture and then modifying it and then going into stories, Facebook wants you to use stories. And obviously, this creative ad platform, this is just the rollout, and there's going to be more and more people or more and more app developers submitting apps into this application. So tomorrow you might see something like a zoom filter. Again, I'm just saying, right? Different options that are going to come in, and so basically, Facebook wants to be this super app where you start with the picture and you do other things with it and then publish it out right away. So that's the gist of this. Overall, again, nothing creative from Facebook, but Facebook is trying to kind of, encourage people to use their app and things like that. So right now, as you can see, Facebook is doubling down on stories, whereas Instagram is doubling down on Reels. Okay. With that, let's go to the next update, and this is a good segue. So Instagram did add two new options to Reels. Again, this is a feature that Instagram has copied from TikTok. Why are we not surprised? Instagram is just copying. Same with Facebook, and they're just basically on a catch-up mode, which remains to be seen how Facebook parent company Meta is gonna be able to innovate or just gonna copy features from other people so that they can keep up. So what are these two features? One is text to speech and the other one is voice effect. So text to speech again is a very popular feature on Instagram where sometimes if you have text and you can have the computer voice and choose between male and female to read back instead of adding your own voiceover, which I think in a situation like this where I am recording this podcast in a very noisy room because I am actually sitting here trying to get my car windshield replaced. There are car passing by. There's a TV behind me, and obviously people talking here. It's a shop, and a lot of noise is happening. Obviously, the airport and the crisp helps. So text to add speech might be helpful there. In that case, the other one is a voice effect option in Reels. Again, this is a feature that copied from TikTok, where you can now change your recorded voice to make it sound like you have been sucking on helium, or you're a robot, or a giant, among various others, which could be interesting in a way to change up your clips. I mean, you know what? I'm going to give this a try for our podcast, for our channel. So again, if you're not following MKT AND Grow, that's MKT short for market, AND Grow on Instagram or Twitter, go ahead and follow us because you're going to see some of these things as I'm trying on. Okay, next up, we have a report from Shopify, Google, and Pinterest on saying, what's popular, the shopping trend, what people are searching for, and all these things. Why are they doing this? Obviously, they are trying to come out with data on what they're seeing, so to help users make decisions. That's one thing. User if you're going to make a purchasing guide, you can kind of see what's in demand and you can kind of, I guess, budget for things. That's one. Number two, for small business angle, since this podcast is geared towards small businesses, what I would say is that this is working for creating a marketing campaign. Who do you want to target? What do you want to target? What's in demand? Create campaigns that if you're not selling the product, then you probably want to create like an anti-product campaign. Or if you have the product, you could say the hottest 10 top ideas, create SEO contents, create blog posts, things like that. So it's very, very helpful. And of course, if you have those products, you might know what to stock up this holiday season. That's it. So you're going to find the list to those, links of the research or the, how to say the publications on the shopping guides on what's not the shopping guides, what's trending this holiday season on our show notes page. Check it out. Again, it's too much to cover because it's from Google, Shopify, and Pinterest. Okay, with that, let's go to the next one. Google has basically announced that Google legal interstitials slash banner does not affect SEO. So what are these legal interstitials slash banners? Well, these are like those pop-up messages says, do you agree? Do you consent to the cookie collection or, a European law, GDPR, privacy, things like that, those pop-ups that come up. Now, Google realizes that in certain countries, in certain verticals, this is a must do. And where this is all playing on, like, for example, in last episode, we covered that Google is going to ding you if your page experience to the page experience algorithm, right? So Google is now coming and saying, well, we understand that pop-ups going to be the necessary evil, so we are not going to ding you on your SEO because of those pop-ups, so we are going to ignore them. But any other pop-up that shows up, we are going to ding you for that. Overall, what you want to do is you want to make sure your page experience is as good as it can be, reduce the number of pop-ups. This is an SEO thing. However, Google is basically for the page experience. One thing what Google does is it says that how long does it take to, for the page to load, the content to kind of the text to appear on the screen. And number two is are there any how long, if there are any forms, how long is the first input delay, because that's what Google matters. The third thing Google wants to check is, if you're scrolling, does there a pop-up that comes up after like 5 seconds, 5, 10, 12 seconds later, and it just pops up. If you have one of those things like a pop-up that says sign up for a newsletter, which is super annoying, especially on mobile and as well as desktop, and I see a lot of digital marketing blog sites and news sites do that, because I know this, because I use all of this to publish this podcast, and they're annoying. They're going to get dinged. Okay, that's all you need to know from there. Next update. The next update is Google publishes a list of Google IP addresses. Why do you care? Well, if you have a list of IP, and this is the first time Google is publishing this IP address. So if you have a list of IP addresses, you know if Googlebot is coming or not is coming to your site. There are two things you can do. You could actually use these IP addresses to say if anyone else kind of figure out if Googlebot is visiting, or if there are any harmful bots that are crawling your site again and again and slowing your site down, you can actually filter them out and block them. So you can use this list to kind of, stop other harmful bot, such as say a bot from the Chinese search engine or the Russian search engines, which again, if you're not doing business with them, why do you want them and slow them in your files and kind of, first of all, mess up your analytics data. Number two is, let me see, what else can you do? Corrupt your analytics data, make it a lot of dirty things, as well as slow your site down, because your site has finite amount of resources, whether it's web server power, things like that. You don't want that. And if these bots consume too much of your spaces, server resources, then of course your provider is not going to be happy, and they're going to either ask you to move into a higher tier of support or move into a different provider or a different server at all. So with that, what I'm saying is go ahead and check it out. Again, this is not for a small business owner to do it by himself, because it's quite resource intensive. I do plan to publish a video on this sometime in the future, so that way you kind of know you can do it yourself. If you're a small business owner and you're not technically savvy, you can do that. But again, this requires a little bit of technical knowledge. Okay, next up is that Google logo now structured data supports ImageObject type. What are these? Well, let me explain this to you in a layman's way. Like, have you ever sometimes searched for, say, a big company, large company, and then you see their logo on the right-hand side of the Google search, along with other, similar companies or competitor companies? If you ever wondered how they got those logos up there, then this is what you want to know. Okay, so a lot of small businesses do not know this, and they're missing out. And the large companies, they know this because of, they have the resources, they have the people, and they do this. But this is not really very hard. Again, I think I should do a video on this because it's so easy, but at the same time, many people miss out. So what you need to do is you need to create a schema object. Again, this is a schema object that humans do not see, but that is in your web page source code. Behind the scenes, your bots like Google bots can see it and read it. And what it does is, like, in addition to providing the URL to your logo, you kind of, now the image object type allows you to put some things like caption about the logo and some text and who it is, what the logo is about, and things like that. And what it does, it helps you to basically show up more. Again, so for example, someone were to search Market and Grow, our Market and Grow company logo is going to show up on the right hand side of the Google search on our desktop, and it just makes it look more official. Again, this information is going to help you be seen on Google organically in a better way than your competitors. So that's all it's going to do. Next update we have is Google shares a guide on how to enable key moment snippets in Google search. What is that? If you sometimes search on Google, right, and let's just say, how do I edit my video in Canva? Sometimes you'll see a video show up and it has show that video. Now, I'm not talking about YouTube or in a video search. I'm talking about in Google search. It will show you a video, and you click on the video, it takes you right at that point where it shows that key moment, where the guy or the girl is actually editing the video in Canva. Google actually comes out with a guide that says how are people getting it done, and all the requirements for it. It's very, very neat. It's easy. once you get hold of it, there are two ways to get it done. One is automatic, which is Google doing it for you, and the other one is manual. Now, a couple of things you want to know. Google is going to give preference to the manual one. So if you do it manually, obviously you will have a higher chance of showing up. And number two is if you're doing it automatically, it will have a lower chance. That's one. Number two is if for you to show up on key moment search, you need to also be careful that your video is alone on a page. If it's embedded with text and other stuff on a page, then the video will not get picked up. So this is a FYI for us, where we are embedding the film show recording, which is this podcast video with text in the same page. And work for me, is to basically split it out so that the video itself is on one page and the text is on another page. And of course, if you're on YouTube, it happens automatically, automatic chapters, it's already getting picked up. But if it's a third-party platform such as Wistia, Vimeo, or something like that, just make sure that your provider supports this kind of stuff. Okay. Again, I feel like a video like this on how to get it done is due, because it's not very complex, but it just requires you to kind of show you how to get it done. And once you get it done, it's going to be like, oh my God, this is so easy. Why did I not do it before? Okay. Next up, I think this is the 10th update of this week is Google Keyword Planner has added 3 new columns, and those 3 columns are year-over-year change, 3-month change, and 3-month training type. What is going to happen if you are into Google Ads campaign? Keyword Planner is a very valuable tool. It allows us to kind of figure out, are we going to bid on this keyword? Is there enough volume? What's happening? And historical data, year-over-year change, 3-month change really helps us to plan better campaigns and increase our ad spend, decrease our ad spend, bid properly, things like that. So it's a very valuable tool. Again, go check it out. If you are unable to do it, I guess maybe we should do a short training. What do you think? Okay. Update number 11, and the last update of this week is that YouTube removes dislike counts. It's not removing the dislike button completely. It's just going to remove the dislike count. So number of people, you're going to see number of people who liked the video, and number of people who disliked the video is not going to be there, because YouTube is saying, well, we have done experiments where we see that there is the dislike army brigade or dislike brigade, where they come in and they mass dislike a video, and obviously it sends the wrong signal to our algorithm, or people get dissuaded because they're getting attacked, and so we want to remove that publicly. You can still dislike a video, it's just that you will not see how many people have disliked. I feel like that's a pure bullshit, and here is why. Facebook removed the dislike button from Facebook likes a long time ago because they said, oh, this is harmful, right? For whatever. It's a double-edged sword. Okay? And why I'm calling it a bullshit is because you cannot just go out on your own and go ahead and dislike a video. You have to have a Google account. Now, if there are Google accounts, and if they're bot accounts, what you need to do is you can Google always figure out. They can write an algorithm that can filter out, hey, is this account always saying negative things to this channel's videos? Right, and you can eventually write out and figure it in an algorithmic way. I mean, Google has algorithms that does find key moments in a video, find fraud detection, all these things, and you think you cannot do this. It's pure machine language. But at the same time, I think what Google is trying to do is, if you see a video that has a high number of dislike counts for genuine reasons, you would probably not watch it. Now you would have to watch that video to figure out if this video is for you or not. Again, I think it just does us disservice. Overall, as a small business creator or small creator, I know how hurtful and painful it is for me to see if someone dislikes my video where I've put in so much heart and soul. But there is a lot of people who are doing a bait and switch. They're really gaming the system. So it's a double-edged sword. That's what I say. And I don't buy YouTube's reasoning, but it is what it is. These are the platforms. They make the rules. We live by the rules. We just have to figure out a way to live with it and deal with it. Okay. Alrighty, folks. That's it for this week in marketing. Now you know everything you need to know. If you'd like to read more, make sure you visit our show page where you'll find the links to these articles. Once again, this is your host, Savi Islam. Signing off. Until next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in this week. It was a pleasure to serve you all. hit the subscribe button so that you remember to sign on next week. Same place, same time for another round of This Week in Marketing.